I just want to go real quick over this. This is the WordPress panel. There is some domain. Uh, SSL, I added some SSL stuff. Basically, what's happening is when you add a domain, my customer have a provider that let him change with an API the DNS server. So when you add a domain, it it creates a zone in Cloudflare, which is a domain. It get the DNS, it replaces the DNS in the domain provider, and then it install WordPress in a specific directory. It set nginx, I don't know how to say it, but it set the web server to point there. And there is a cron job. This is the best way I found to use certbot, which gets free SSL certificate. SSL certificate, yes. So the cron job is like when the DNS propagated, mark as SSL, and certbot itself set the nginx. It did the nginx and also renew the certificate each. There's a cron job for that that's automatically made. So I think it's very cool. You can of course change the theme, do some plugin. There is just one thing though. Um, we try to not rely on plugin because some plugin like this one, the cookie notice, when you just install it, there is nothing set. And the goal is to programmatically generate link a bunch of domain to WordPress, set them, and install the base of a website. And the problem is it needs to be configured. I'll just go real quick over that. There is a part here that we install the plugin, we activate it, but then we write in the database. It's using the WordPress client. All of it use the WordPress client tool, but sorry, it's basically update the settings in the database itself. This is the hack that I found. I install the plugin, I get the database, and then I configure it the way I want, and I compare both of them. And there is still some bug in it, but it's show, which is not supposed to if you just install it. I just need to fix some configuration, and it's gonna be fine. But yeah, that's a hack that I found to automatically set a plugin. Um, yeah, that's the SSL script. We basically get all the domain that are not SSL validated, and then we use the certbot command. There is also, let's say you delete a domain, it delete the nginx configuration. So in the scenario that you would add it back, the cron job still gonna process it back. It's gonna renew it or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's always gonna stay updated properly. I'm very proud of that. Yeah. So the goal is that you can create authors and delete authors because the goal is to make the website look real. You can create a post. You can post on all the website or random website, and it's always random authors. Or you can select a specific site, and there's gonna be a pop-up here if there is authors. Like, do you want to use the admin authors or any of these authors? You set the title, post content. It's support HTML. You put an image URL for the future image, and it's gonna download locally on that WordPress too. And you create the post. You can also get particular website post, delete post, load all the posts, delete all the posts. Uh, and this is to manually create a news. But the fun part is it's the first time that I work with N8N. What I did is I hard coded the sources there. You see rts.ch. This rts.ch is what you see here. Sorry, when you create a website, because we want category 2, I'm going to do this, but RTS is one of the source. Um, that's a very simple function. Just it helped me, I can manage that news and sources fetching all in N8N this way without updating the front end. What I was doing is there is a cron job that should run on the server, not on N8N, on the server. That basically we get all the active domain. Um, First, we get the post. We do this workflow, which is scraping we get multiple RSS feeds. We sort it if needed. We query each of these the URL of each post. We extract data from it. We merge with the original ID or some data that are just for the sake of it. I add source. I edit some stuff that I was not happy with. I just format everything so it can be all merged. And I was responding to the webhook. Then my panel was storing in the database the original post from the scraping. Then what I was doing was I take a domain, I get 5 random articles, and I send them to rewrite with this is open router. I tried some free model. I tried Olama too, and it all worked well. And it's getting posted automatically on the domain. But first, the issue that I had first is Olama is very slow on my server. So it will not be a problem to take 1, 2, 3 minutes per news. It will not be the end of the world if it will be my project. But first, that's not proper for my customer, and he preferred to use free model from Open Router or even pay. We calculated it's about $100 for 100,000 article to be rewritten, and it's faster. The other issue that I noticed is when I get post, the workflow start, but after 60 seconds, this one there is more article there than here. You can see there is 25 item and 123. And for some, I did not understood, but this workflow was not even there. The merge was not even there, but the webhook was responding, and I was confused. So what I read is N8N webhooks have a timeout of 60 seconds, 64 seconds. Uh, I saw some people saying you can change that if you self-host, which I'm doing, but uh, I don't think it's the solution because there is a reason why it's like that, right? So what I'm gonna do is instead storing the original post on the panel on the dashboard, I'm gonna I already have MySQL on that server. It's another server, so I'm gonna store my data that are scraped, and when I want to get some posts rewritten, which is the actual task, the cron job in my server doesn't need to wait for these fetching. This can run once a day, and this on the server can be queried once a day too, you know? And I could even make the same logic here. Instead using a webhook, um, make it part of the. But it's not very. No, it's not logical to do this. But what I mean is, I could do my cron job, query that endpoint. It's gonna do the process, but not respond to it. Just wait and use an asynchronous, like a poll logic. Is it ready? Is it ready? Is it ready? When it's ready, actually answer the result. Something like that. So I'm gonna check what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I've learned a lot about N8N. It's the second time that I work with. I had another project, and I was very disappointed because I was playing with Mongo and MySQL directly, but I was using it in the AI agent. Yeah. So basically, the AI agent you can have some the chat model, you can have memory, and you can have tools. And I was using Mongo tools, and I swear, the insert operation was never working like I wanted. So I was a bit disappointed, and I'm a Python programmer. I prefer Python, but for the sake of it, and I did a lot of bots, automation, and scraping. And there is scenarios that they require a very particular way of interacting with a website, or the way to go under the radar and stuff. But for the sake of this workflow, it's so much easier to just set some nodes. I get the content that I want, I filter it, and it's done. So yeah, that's my setup, and I'm gonna keep you updated.